Greek statues in the first millennium BC. They were offerings to the gods. They were everywhere. If we could go back in time, we'd be shocked by the sheer numbers of them, radiating out in rows from the Greek temples, like human versions of the perfect marble columns. Being in the shape of men, they reflected back to man an idealized version of himself. We have the spark of divinity within. The Greeks consulted the oracle in Delphi. Now it's all rubble, but then the path was lined with statues. The Greeks asked, "How shall we live?" The message came back from the gods, "Know thyself." Modern art in a museum, our version of the Delphic oracle. How can we know ourselves with this? Am I 5 yards of red? The message in the canvas weave is, this is where we've got to now. This is us. The painting is from 1950. It's by Barnett Newman. It's called Vir Heroicus Sublimis. It means man, heroic and exalted. Look into it. Civilization is in there. Art has its own memory of itself, its own psychic strata. In it you see human consciousness changing, civilization altering itself. We see the higher realm of being, idealized versions of what we could be if we were better than ourselves. There's something spine-chilling and hair-raising about art when it's connected to the past. We sense some awesome and unquestionable set of values being carried on through art. But then art changes, because everything changes. With the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, agreed interpretations of life start to break down. Man is separated from nature, machines rule work, science challenges religion. What eventually emerges is modern life. The old illusions shattered, new ones rule us. Consumerism, our new freedoms pictured to us in advertising. So when the story comes around to our own time, and we see art that describes us, when we have the freedom to be whatever we want to be, it's hard to know what we are. This is the subject of the final episode of this series, Life in the Uncertain Present. We don't know if it's the higher realm or the lost path, but for us, this is civilization. Look around. It's modern art in a big, modern, arty space. In this series, we've been in the distant past to see how art shows us what we are. Tonight, we catch up with ourselves. What are you now? You don't know what you believe in. You don't know where your life's going. You have no idea what existence is about. There is no single moral code that everyone follows anymore. Can you cope with that? That's the big theme of tonight's program. It's the question that modern art asks. We yearn for a mirror to reflect us back to ourselves in all our fulfilled, civilized, beautiful seriousness. Can we still ask for that? Do we still deserve it? Ads, fun, glamour, being superficial. You've got all that here. Why complain? After all, most of life is about trivia. But life must have something else too, mustn't it? It must have a sense of hope, of importance, of greatness. Art, traditionally, is the thing that blasts that out to us. Is it doing that here? We don't know. We're uncertain. The burning issue tonight, the big thing that modern art tells us, right from its beginning up to now, is that something broke 100 years ago that cannot be put back together again. There is no single code for living. The burning issue for us is uncertainty. What will future civilizations see when they look back at us through our art? The future will look back and see not just a changed society, but a society defined by change. living constantly with oddness. They'll be interested in how we showed ourselves to ourselves. A complete break from the art of the past that was aspirational and idealised. Instead, an art of restless questioning. Art becomes the lightning conductor for changing values. When we see this, we think of a scandal in the mass media. It's a sculpture by Carl Andre, made in 1966, bought by the Tate Gallery in 1972 for £800. 120 bricks laid on the floor. Not even laid by the artist, but by gallery assistants, following a layout supplied by the artist.
I think they're making fun of us.
For years it stood for popular anger at art's obscurity, a routine of pretending to be shocked. Behind the routine was a feeling of genuine disappointment. I'm not just a pile of bricks. Now the routine has changed. Market forces have made modern art popular. Now Tate Modern gets 5 million visitors a year. In a subtle but brilliant twist, obscurity has been made glamorous. The bricks, protected by a little safety barrier all around, are not a sign of anger anymore, but of triumph. Art moving from the margins of social life to the centre, even though we still don't really know what it says about us. Actually, the bricks never were about shocks, but about form. Think of our obsession with possessions and acquiring things. The artist is a sculptor, he thinks about carving, and he comes up with the idea that you don't have to make a cut into the material for it to be sculpture. The bricks make a cut into the world. The message is, strip away false artifice. A pared-back object that has its own modest rightness contrasts with the consumer society's glut of objects that nobody needs. The bricks are a phase of modern art. Modern art is a tradition that revs up in the late 19th century, when art shows reality trembling a bit, but really takes off in the early 20th century, when art shows reality completely transformed. Modern art never stops changing, it keeps responding to the same problem, modern life. Because modern art is difficult, people often wish it would pull itself together. In a minute, we'll meet someone who is more than happy to force it to do that.